Hello YouTube. Today I'm going to make a video about some gun facts about murders and in some cases the lack thereof because of guns. And this is something that you won't really hear from the leftist side of the political spectrum. I got a page. Based on a survey data from a 2000 study published in the Journal of Quantitative Criminology, U.S. civilians use guns to defend themselves and others from crimes at least 989,883 times per year. That's at least. So I've seen at some places that this number it goes up to 2 million times per year, which is double what is here. But I'm not sure about that, but still 1 million times a year, that's a pretty big number. In a 1982 survey of male felons in 11 state prisons dispersed across the U.S. found that 34% had been scared off, shot, wounded, or captured by an armed victim. 40% had decided not to commit a crime because they knew or believed the victim was carrying a gun. And 69% personally knew other criminals who had been scared off, shot, wounded, or captured by an armed victim. During the years in which the D.C. handgun ban and trigger lock law was in effect, Washington, D.C. murder rate averaged 73% higher than it was on before the law became effective. Well, the U.S. murder rate averaged 11% lower. The homicide rate in England and Wales has averaged 52% higher since the 1968 gun laws became effective, and 15% higher since the outset of the 1997 handgun ban. Since the outset of the Chicago handgun ban, the percentage of Chicago murders committed with handguns has averaged about 40% higher than it was before the law took effect. In 2005, 96% of all firearm murders victims in Chicago were killed with handguns. That did no good. In 1997, U.S. Justice Department survey of 14,285 state prison inmates found that among these inmates who carried a firearm during their offense, which they were sent to jail, 0.7% obtained the firearm from a gun show, 1% at a flea market, 3.8% from a pawn shop, 8.3% from a retail store, 39.2% through an illegal street source, and 39.6% through a family member. Family and friends. Since the outset of the Florida right to carry law, the Florida murder rate has averaged 36% lower than it was before the law took effect, while the U.S. murder rate has averaged 15% lower. Since the outset of the Texas right to carry law, the Texas murder rate has averaged 30% lower than it was before the law took effect, while the U.S. murder rate has averaged 28% lower. Since the outset of the Michigan right to carry law, the Michigan murder rate has averaged 4% lower than before the law took effect, with the U.S. murder rate averaging 2% lower. Those are just some of the facts that I found online, and this was all from justfacts.com. Right next to everything has a little number, a little footnote, and if you go to the bottom, you can find links to the actual websites where this data is from. So this is fairly reliable data. I've also actually looked at the Uniform Crime Report, which is actually from the FBI, and a lot of this information is on there as well. Some incidents that I've heard about in the past few weeks. There was a shooting at, it was in Texas. It was a guy was looking for someone. He walked into a restaurant. He had a gun. He killed 2 people. People in the restaurant fled off into a movie theater. The gunman followed them into the movie theater, and once in the movie theater, a civilian who was carrying concealed pulled out his pistol and shot the guy in the chest and dropped him dead. That was almost another Aurora. That man who was legally carrying a pistol saved who knows how many people. In Georgia, it was like last week, I think, a woman was on the phone with her husband when an intruder broke into her home. She and her 2 kids went up into the attic and hid in the corner. While she was on the phone with her husband, the husband called the police. The phone conversation between the husband and the police was over 10 minutes long. During this time, though, the robber came into the attic, and this woman fired upon the intruder and shot him 5 times in the face and torso. I don't know what kind of pistol was used, but I know it was a revolver. I don't know the caliber, like maybe a 22 or a 38 special, something small. But a lot of these gun laws, I mean, right there was 3 innocent lives, a mother and her 2 children. That's not going to get any press. Very little people are going to actually hear about that at all, period, because it doesn't fit the agenda of taking guns away from citizens. But it was a revolver, and actually that is what a lot of these lawmakers who want to ban semi-automatic weapons, that's what they want you to have to defend yourself. A little 6-shot, a little revolver, 6 shots. She had a revolver, 6 shots, shot him 5 times, and he still didn't die. He actually was able to flee the scene, flee the house with these 5 bullets in him, got into a car and drove off. I mean, he was later found by police. Because, I mean, you need medical assistance at that point. You get shot 5 times. But in the UCR, it says it's like under 300 deaths a year, murders a year from a long rifle, like a 223 or an AR-15, AK-47, hunting rifle. Shotgun is in its own category and it's slightly lower, but and the murder rate, this 13,663, I think it was, in 2011, which is the last year they have data for. They haven't completely figured out everything from last year. These numbers don't include those people who are the actual attackers who get killed. They don't factor that in. They don't take away the justifiable killings. They don't take those out of this number. It's all put into one. And none of this, no politicians look at this. You tell them facts, they immediately attack you. They attack who you are, what you've done in the past. They don't look at facts from any credible source. 3 lives saved in Georgia. Who knows how many lives saved in that Texas shooting, that almost became a shooting. And 6 shots in a revolver is not going to protect yourself. And I don't know how many gunfights you've been in, or even simulated in training, but you don't use just 6 shots and the problem goes away. A lot of the times they have guns and they're going to shoot back. And even if they don't shoot back, 6 shots, if they continue it to advance on your position, you run out of bullets. Well, fuck. I mean, what are you going to do at that point? You're going to hit them with a gun? I mean, you're already... She's female. She's protecting her kids. Most females generally are smaller, and they can be easily overpowered, which would have probably more than likely been the case. After you shoot your 6 shots, well, you know, you did your best there, I guess, but that's what they want to say. Apparently, better off then than having that gun in the first place. But the thing is also, the recidivism rate is like 97%. It's absolutely ridiculous. These people who commit these murders and other violent acts, other violent crimes, they've already been through the system, and they've been let out. Because plea bargaining, a lot of these people, they don't even see jail because of plea bargains. Or they don't see hard time, they don't see very long sentencing. They get out, they get released, and that's something that needs to be addressed. And there's a training. Alright, so the recidivism rate is ridiculously high. People who commit crimes are very, very likely to commit them again, and they don't do anything about that. They don't see that as a problem. That person's still going to go out once he gets out, and even if he doesn't have a handgun, the guy was. That's just it. I'm just going to end it there. This video there. I'm going to make another video about another topic completely, but that's what I want to say about crime statistics in the U.S. and other places. But alright.